Hello and welcome, GGLeagues fans, to this series in the Illinois Division B between Weirdchamp and Singularity Esports. This is DJ. I am here with Mercenary tonight. Mercenary, how are you feeling?
I am doing fantastic, GJ. It is great to be here. Sorry for the late start, everybody. We did have some issues with one player, but according to GGLeagues in playoffs, of course, is that they get a 15-minute wait before it happens. Of course, it is 9:24 now, so they passed the 15 minutes. So match one would end up going over to Weirdchamp here, but Singularity's top laner has returned, and so you guys will be here for match two as we're diving straight into picks here. We already have bans out right now for Singularity, Mordekaiser, Urgot, Kled, and Weirdchamp. We have Misfortune, Echo, and Vladimir. This is going to be a fun one.
Yeah, a lot of top lane focus there from the side of Singularity, but Weirdchamp does manage to get onto Volibear. And we do see Volibear Morg from them, a Caitlyn, first pick blue side. Caitlyn, a champion that has continued to rise in priority, and as my solo queue will show you from last night, is really, really oppressive in lane. Really, really oppressive. We have a Nasus also along with the Nico. Nasus, not someone you see particularly very often as you climb up the Elo ladder here. So very interesting to see him picked up here by the side of Singularity.
Yes, and it's worth noting here, Singularity is our top seed team, but yet we have not seen them play here in the bracket as they won on a forfeit from the opposing team last game. So this is going to be the first match they play here in playoffs. But as we're diving straight into the rest of the bans, Ezreal and Aatrox to the side of Singularity, another top laner out of the mix along with Ezreal, just in case that Volibear is as a jungler. And then we have J4 and Hecarim, both jungle bans targeted over at Singularity. Very interesting. A large, wide variety of bans coming up from Weirdchamp here, but for Singularity, they really want to take care of that top lane for their top laner here.
And it does make sense considering that Nasus is someone who does, especially when blind picked, have quite a few picks that can really make his already weak early game even worse. So definitely looking to protect that pick and allow him to get to that mid-game spike that he's looking to have as he presses 300 stacks, 400 stacks, depending on how that stacking is going in the top lane.
And it looks like for Weirdchamp, we're going to see the Varus down in bot lane, but over in the jungle for Singularity, we're going to have the Graves there. Graves still a top-tier jungler going into higher elos right now. Very oppressive nonetheless. He can do a ton of damage in a short period of time. There's an interesting pick into Caitlyn. His Qs will be able to reach Caitlyn out of range, but still Caitlyn will hold the top range advantage overall, especially in that interesting bot lane of the Morgana Varus. Pretty oppressive one nonetheless, but as it looks like here, we're going to have the Maokai support coming out here for Caitlyn, so she'll be just fine with a wall of flesh or wall of bark, for instance, in front of her way.
Yep, should be that Maokai support. We see Trundle round out the draft here for the side of Weirdchamp. So a nice strong jungler should give them some good jungle mid synergy. Orianna definitely going to be a little bit better of a team fighter than Nico. Both do have a pretty strong circle ultimates there, but Orianna's definitely the one a little bit more utility. But yeah, interesting to see that Varus come back. Mercenary, we haven't seen him in a while, has been nerfed continuously since the start of the year when he was absolutely busted with that poke build, and have not really seen him since at most elos. So interesting to see Weirdchamp potentially going for comfort or going for some sort of specific kind of pick comp here with this lane. But yeah, definitely not an 80 carry we see a lot anymore. Is someone who does have the range with that Q, with the E, to stand up to Caitlyn in this lane.
Definitely indeed, and mind you, while Varus has gotten nerfed quite a few times, namely trying to poke down lethality Varus, he is still overall a pretty decent ADC nonetheless. He's still holding a solid upper mid tier right now, but Caitlyn's still one of the top tiers overall. Honestly, I feel like the Ashe would have been a lot better with the Morgana for the combo, but with that Maokai in the way, you want to be able to try to poke that Caitlyn as much as possible. So I think the Varus is a solid pick, especially into this opposing bot lane. But something to look out for the top lane here for Singularity. Unfortunately, they did burn their last ban there with the Aatrox, not being able to get the jungle all the way. Instead, they're going to get the Trundle jungle for Weirdchamp, who, as we've seen here last night in one of our D tier games, is just an absolute terror in the jungle right now.
Yeah, super strong champion there. We'll see if he decides to go lethal tempo or that phase rush to stick on to people. Graves definitely a champion known for the phase rush. So if they do meet in a duel, might be nice to have that rune. It'll be interesting to see what is opted for by this Trundle. I look more for sort of the mid jungle synergy between Orianna and Trundle in this early game. Trundle definitely someone that wants to have a little bit more impact than Graves does. Graves, not the best early ganker, definitely known as more of a scaling, farming jungler. And so I'd be looking for Trundle to impact these lanes before he either runs into Graves in the jungle or runs into him in a team fight later in the game.
Definitely. And while we're looking at the different comps here, sorry, there was a Galio pick there. Maybe there was a mistake from earlier. Did not know that was going to happen. But now we have a Galio as a support for Caitlyn. It was the Nasus up top originally, but now it's Galio support with Maokai going up top. So that changes a whole lot of things. Maokai, Volibear up the top lane should be an interesting matchup nonetheless. Maokai should be able to tank out later in the game against the Volibear, lest Volibear gets an early kill or two. Then Maokai might be a bit in trouble. But this bot lane in general, pretty dangerous for Morgana now, especially with a Galio with just his overall based magic damage. But based on these two teams here, just based off their comps in general, personally, I give the edge a little bit over to Singularity. I like those large ultis they have, especially for group team fights, and it'll be definitely an interesting one here as we're diving into the match soon.
Yes, it will be Mercenary. But with that, we will be going to a spectator's break. We will pick you up for game 2 right after this delay. And welcome back, GG Leagues fans, as we are getting into game 2 here of this series between Singularity and Weirdchamp in Illinois Division B. You can see Weirdchamp loading in here on the red side. We have Singularity loading in on the blue side. And you've noticed a couple things about the rune choices, Mercenary.
I did indeed. We have the Morgana going Guardian, which is pretty common nowadays, especially because the added shield and just the distance in general. But that generally means that this Morgana knows there's no real fighting into this Galio here, so she's just going to go ahead and try to protect this Varus as much as possible. So we'll see that happening there as we're actually looking at top lane, looking at some dance moves. But otherwise, everything else seems pretty normal about this game. Though there is a phase rush Oriana, so she's definitely going to be trying to go in for some damage on this Nico. Trying to maybe stop her from getting some extra kills in the end.
Yeah, phase rush on the Oriana is definitely a pretty normal choice depending on the matchup. I'm interested to see that Belladeth has gone for the press the attack on the Trundle here. So neither of the rune choices I thought he might go for. Just going to go for that bonus damage on his third auto. So we'll be looking maybe a bit of a stronger skirmishing Trundle here as we'll get a pretty normal start, sort of 5-point scrimmage start here. And Belladeth will move down to his blue buff. Pretty standard red buff start here on the bot side for Gendry.
Definitely. Another interesting thing to notice, especially about Astral's pick here, starting off with the Relic Shield rather than the Frostfang. Even though Frostfang was just buffed this most recent patch, Relic Shield is still the way to go for most mages down the bot lane. Gives you some extra health, and you don't have to focus on hitting opponents just as much. So you can just go ahead and get some extra money for yourself, as well as just getting some extra health in the general, as we are looking around a few skirmishes, especially in the mid lane right now. Not too surprising. And top lane just looks like a slow shove by Brick here. Ooh.
As a root will be dodged here by Hiadni. The mid lane can see a little bit of pressure coming out here as level 2 achieved for the side of Singularity first, but a nice black shield from Morgana does get her out of that one. Embrace Dream actually takes a nice chunk there from the Caitlyn, and as we were mentioning, that Q on the Caitlyn these days does a lot of damage in the early, even in the mid game. It does take some time before that one stops hurting.
Last time I checked, if you look in a dictionary and look up oppressive, Caitlyn's face will be there next to any other laner who likes to shove it in, but we might actually see a bit of a gank happening up in the top lane.
Yeah, and Brick getting ganked here, but has already chunked Shayak down really low, and Belladeth is here as well. Here comes Brick getting the Q down, roots Gentry up, get a flash in here, and they will pick up first blood onto Brick. Very well played there from the Volley Bear, chunking out Shayak before Gentry arrived for the gank, and then going right back in with Belladeth in his pocket. They both expend their flashes, but they do manage to pick up first blood.
Now that is something you want to see on an early Volibear. Like I said before, that tankiness will not be as strong on Mordekaiser up there in the top lane. Solid damage happening there in the mid lane, but no kills happening just yet. But overall, that's a really great kill to land straight on top of Brick, and he's going to be having a way better time in that top lane, as we actually see a bit of an engage happening here in the mid lane.
Gentry only level 3 though. 2 Belladeth's level 4 will be a tough situation. As a trap lands on Embrace Dream, he's pretty low. Astro gonna get taunted up here by the Galio. Will have to flash away from the Caitlyn trap. So some nice pressure coming out here from the bot side of Singularity Esports.
And like we were talking before, Singularity's bot lane's absolutely terrifying. It's really something you really can't fight against, so the fact that they rotated up to try to do some extra damage is a bit surprising, and they learned the hard way. As you're looking at Embrace Dream's health bar is honestly a Q shot away here for Caitlyn, so Embrace Dream's gonna have to watch it and mind his footing.
Will have to indeed. And a similar situation for Shayak on the top lane. Does have sustain built into the passive in his kit. You can see he's already fallen 20 CS down to Bricked, despite not even going down, just from being chunked out and being forced to farm under turret here. So a little bit of rough going for this Maokai in the early game.
Yeah, absolutely terrifying up there in the top lane. Again, now that kill has gone down, especially so early in the game, it's going to be very hard for this Maokai to come back. So now you're going to have Graves not only focusing on that bot lane to try to get them farther ahead, You're going to see him have to go into the top lane to try to keep this Maokai alive and try to make sure he's not just a wall of meat, but he's a wall of meat who's wearing a bulletproof vest.
Absolutely. You notice we will get a little bit of help from Belladeth there with the bot lane to make sure that one resets appropriately so they can get their back. And a pretty nice buy here from the Varus' Vampiric Scepter that should keep him a little bit more topped off against this Caitlyn poke in lane. If you are struggling against Caitlyn's in your games, getting some lifesteal early, even if it's not perfect for your build, can make you feel just a little bit better getting through the laning phase before you move on to your first or your core items.
Ooh.
Just hold on here. Gentry going to get spotted out, but Adney's level 6 here. Gentry going to try to do some damage, but maybe in trouble himself as she procs her phase rush, does decide not to use that shockwave. Envione also still only level 5 here, so a nice experience advantage by Hiadni will allow her to survive some of this pressure from the mid jungle on the opposing team. And Belladeth hovering around, but looks like nothing going to happen just yet in this mid lane.
But don't look now. We do have Belladeth going up towards the top lane, trying to get maybe that Volbear just a bit farther ahead, as we do have the Graves almost backing. He's going over to his blue to try to wait for that one. Or maybe he might even know something's funky's going to be happening up there in the top lane. Who knows? Belladeth is just chilling in that side bush, but we do have the Graves waiting around for the scuttle. Go through it, and it looks like there might be an engage happening here in the top jungle.
Here comes Belladeth. It looks like he will pick that one up and now going to go right on top of Gentry. Does not have the phase rush, so Gentry going to be able to rush out of there after proccing his own, and Belladeth will just have to be happy with stealing away that Scuttlebug, but they're making Gentry's life pretty hard right now. He's 7 CS down, already took that first death, and is just kind of getting matched everywhere he tries to show up on the map.
Definitely a shame there. He's behind in farm, but also looking across the farm differences, top lane is just being heavily shoved in. That 20 CS difference is not going away anytime soon, with mid lane actually being held over by Orianna right now. Bit interesting one there, as both the matchup kind of play into each other. So honestly, it's a matter of skill. It looks like Heating is definitely going to try to uphold that skill cap right there.
We see some early recess coming in as Brick kind of going for a trade on Shyak. Shyak going to try and knock him back under the turret, but doesn't quite get him in the range and takes the second proc of that W from Volibear. Takes a huge chunk of damage, so he is low again now. Trying to farm under turret. Does have his ult and flash, so is a bit of a hard target, but Brick maybe looking. Going to go in, gets the shield here. Here comes the flash out. Will nullify the turret. Doesn't have flash of Maokai has already used his. Brick still does have his, excuse me. May try to go in here if he can get his Q back up. Meanwhile, it looks like Nico going down in mid lane. A solo kill actually coming out here, and Brick will end up chasing down Shyak. So some chaos erupting on the map as Gentry getting caught on the dragon here. Gets some help from his jungle, or from his supporting Madness. They're burning down Belladeth with the Ignite. And action ignites all over the map here, Mercenary.
Absolutely terrifying right now. Up there in the top lane, it was an interesting fight and a chase, but unfortunately it was for Notchak. Ended up going down to the Volibear and is even farther behind in farm now. But in that mid lane, it was a solid dance for Heaton and Evelyn over there. But overall, the Orianna would come out on top with the ulti. The Nico tried to ulti back as well, but unfortunately started it just a second too early and was not able to get it off with the ball of death happening there. As we're looking right now, this bot lane having able to push back the lane, not keeping up in farm, but instead they're just gonna go ahead and double take that Drake, as Belladeth, who died earlier in that fight beforehand, is just gonna get his just desserts. He wanted that Drake beforehand, he didn't get it the first time, and now he's gonna get it the second time.
All in all, everything looking pretty good here for the side of Weirdchamp. Brick absolutely dominating this top lane matchup up, I believe, almost 40 CS here. Did run down Shyak. Did have to expend his flash to do so, but has established a huge lead there. And while Varus is also about 20 CS down in the bot lane, they picked up a solo kill under their mid laner who's 10 CS up ahead. So you got two lanes in very good position. Your bot lane's a little behind, but you've also set the jungler for the side of Singularity. Way behind here, sitting 20 CS down. And again, just seems like he can't show up anywhere without being bothered by either Death or another member of this Weirdchamp side.
Yeah, but this bot lane is going strong, so Volog is definitely their ace in the hole here. That mid lane definitely going down that top lane. Almost a deficit at this point, as the top lane is actually getting ganked in right now.
And no flash on Death is going to try to stay alive, let Brick arrive, but Envione is here first. Will pop her ultimate, gonna land onto Brick. They do get the shockwave onto 2 here. They're going pretty low. They've already picked up Brick. Death trying to get onto Shayak. Here comes the Galio ult. It's gonna stop Death. They may be able to take him down, and they will. They flash on top of him, and they're probably gonna pick up Hyadni here too. Really nice stuff here from Singularity around this Rift Herald, and they will turn this game on its head.
Yeah, unfortunately, in the end, they did not get the Rift, but they got a lot of kills, bringing them back, and the goal difference to just about even right now. Solid play from overall from both teams. The engage was smart, and the disengage from Weirdchamp was definitely strong, but then you just had a new challenger rise over and over. Speaking of challengers, here comes Brick, absolutely devastating Evione right now.
Yeah, absolutely no time to even breathe there. Envione tried to fly, use that W as a distraction, but Brick is having none of it, jumps right on top of her and takes her down. So a little bit of redemption after that play around the Rift Herald going terribly wrong for Weirdchamp, but Brick still growing his lead in this top side.
Yeah, you got the shutdown from earlier. Oop. Bit of a whiffed ulti there from Embrace Dream, as Death is down in that bot lane to try to help them push a bit more. But as I was saying, you got that shutdown earlier on Brick, but that does not change his power. That just makes the Nico a bit stronger. Has first item above hiding right now. But as we're looking at this top lane, this Volibear looking like he's biting off a little bit more than he can chew.
Yep, Volibear really trying to keep the pressure on top of Shayak here, who has now picked up his Bomby Cinder, has Mercury Treads for that Q ability from the Volibear, and it looks like Brick will just take a recall here. You saw the Rift Herald summoned in mid lane by Hyadni, just happy to take that goal. She's going to throw out the Shockwave Ignite, gets the auto on Envione. She has to go into the W, use her ult to get the shield. Here's one more Flash Q from Hyadni, and that's the second solo kill for this Orianna onto the Nico.
Hyadni knows she has better dance moves than this Nico. You even saw her pop her phase rush there and just running through the ult. She knew it was about to happen. She didn't care. She's like, I can beat this. Walks straight around, lands the abilities, and gets the flash to make sure she can confirm that kill. This is just a very interesting skill matchup happening in the mid lane right now. Though the Nico is still a glass cannon, still absolutely terrifying with that power, and it's still an item up on the end here. But we may see an item popping up, maybe full boots as well coming out for the mid laner here, which will make that Orianna just that much more terrifying.
Great call out, Mercenary, as we see that Orianna taking down Nico despite not having a completed item. The Hextech GLP a little bit cheaper than I would imagine is the Ludens coming out here from Orianna's. Hold on, we have an engage in the top lane. Shayak has used his ultimate. Brick is going a little bit low here, trying to heal up. Will jump back in with the bonus health, and Shayak is very low, and the flash in from Brick, and Brick is absolutely stomping on Shayak in this game.
Are we playing League of Legends? Or are we in a ballroom? Look at these fancy footworks coming out from the side of Weirdchamp. Brick's diving into the back line, took a lot of damage and turned around. Shayak knows, he's like, I can do this amount of damage. He's trying to go in for it, but in fact, Bricks just pops the ulti, gets some extra damage, and instead is just going to try to shove down that second tier top tower. As it looks like he might not be able to in the end. He's shut down by Evione, who's just going to pop around the corner as well.
Taking a little long, but hold on, we got a teleport here in the bot lane. They're trying to burst out Madness, but they're not quite getting it done. Here comes Shayak with the TP from base. In comes the Galio ult, excuse me there, and they will take down one. Trying to chase down Morgana here is the Caitlyn ult. That will be 2 for Volog here, as now Hyadni finding Shayak here, but a little bit caught up. They're going to throw an E over. Looks like she will be able to get out, but another well-played team fight around this Galio ultimate, and a great teleport in from Shayak into this bot lane actually puts this point of pressure, really the only point of pressure Singularity has developed in this game so far. Very, very far ahead. Now 2 kills on the Caitlyn, 139 CS with a completed Infinity Edge.
Kind of looks like they're possibly going to get the Drake too, though Brick is running down at high speeds. They don't want a Volibear trying to get you right now. 2,000 health, 1,000. We may see a fight breaking out here as we do have the members of Weirdchamp grouping around now.
And they're going to try to peel Volig here. Will have to pop his heal to get away, but Madness will pay with his life. There is no ultimate on Brick at the moment. He's going to try to get the Orianna shield and speed up. Will force Shayak wide. Will get the Q down. Here comes Shayak's ultimate. It's not enough. Siadny takes him down. Great Q poke from Varus, but Volig survives with just about 10 HP. And now they're getting on top of Embrace Dream, and he's going to go down to the combined efforts of Gentry and Envyone. But a great shockwave from Orianna. She pops the Ignite, takes down Gentry, and a flash over the wall from Belladeath, and they will take down Envyone as well. And this will be the second Drake, and despite losing Embrace Dreams, they will take down 4 in the extended fight as Madness has already respawned, and they will take the second Drake of the game.
Weirdchamp wanted some revenge after their fight. They did not have, unfortunately, Singularity did not have the damage to take down that Drake in time. You had the Volibear ulti still up. He dove in, was able to do some damage, and the rest of the members were able to pop around as well. Because, mind you, Hidan did not die in that fight. She was still alive to just pop around. So as soon as Nico left out of lane, Nico was already half health, was not really able to fight during that, and ended up dying because of that, but was able to actually get an extra kill in the end. You did have the Orianna be able to pop around, try to keep up, get solo killed by herself there in the jungle, and they were able to turn that fight around despite losing the earlier fight beforehand.
One thing I just noticed here, Mercenary, actually some interesting itemization coming out from Brick. You can see the Hextech Gunblade on the Volibear, now the Wit's End, and there is a good amount of magic damage on the side of Singularity, so definitely itemizing for that, but Hextech Gunblade, not something I see very often on a Volibear.
Thing with Volibear, though, he's still very flexible. While people are starting to drop him into the Bruiser role, as you've seen before, he has also been built true as full damage as well, and it looks like that's what Brick is trying to go for here with the Gunblade. He doesn't want you to run away. He wants you to stay in his Lightning Storm so he can drop on you and do some solid damage. So it's an unusual build nonetheless, not the usual in the end, but it's still a completely viable one in the end. And we're probably going to see Brick get stronger and stronger here as these team fights keep erupting in these tight corridors.
That is the case, and definitely a build that looks set to really dominate any magic damage side laner. So Volibear may be looking to get some side lane pressure, but nice grouping and vision control here from the side of Weirdchamp, and they will start up this Rift Herald, the second one of the game. They should take this uncontested as nobody from Singularity really hanging around, and Belladeath will come in, take this smite, and I'm going to guess that this one, I don't think they need to use a bot lane. They may be saving this one for mid-tier 2.
Ooh, the chase there from Brick. Tried to go for something, but was not able to get it in the end. Fortunately, he just turned around. He really didn't want chase down on Nico, slowing him down even more. But they are winning around the corner as Belladeath is soon to find the Nico waiting there and hiding. Oh, long-range ult. Gotta hit somebody. I don't know who it had. I think it hit Astral in the end.
Yeah, looking to stop Astral's back, I suppose. Now, Mercenary, both objectives are down. We got Drake, third Drake spawning. It will be Infernal Soul on the map this game. Drake spawning in 2 minutes 30 with the Baron coming up in a minute 20. What are you looking for from these teams in the next couple minutes? What are they trying to push ahead? Are they looking for the Drake stacking, or are they going to start to maybe dance around Baron, a couple minutes after it spawns?
Well, for the side of Weirdchamp, they're probably going to be wanting to try to go for straight that Infernal Soul. It would do a ton of extra damage. Actually, speaking of damage, look at that damage from Volibear on top of Shayak right now. Absolutely terrifying. Imagine that with Infernal Soul. So that's what they're going to be looking for around there. So they want to put that pressure towards that bot lane and mid lane. Meanwhile, Singularity just has to keep staying strong. They have to get Shayak back to his full tanky status. He does not have a full item yet, mind you. He has the Bramble Vest. He has the Balmy Cinder, but he doesn't have anything fully built yet. He has no solid armor yet. And so get Shayak extra gold, make sure he gets a solid item, and try to stop these pushes that are happening right now from Weirdchamp.
Weirdchamp going to drop this Rift Herald mid. Singularity happy to trade top tier 1 for this mid tier 2, and most of mid-tier 3 as Varus will come out. We have a full engage here, but a nice Morgana ultimate keeps the Varus alive. Shaq gonna go down. Here comes the Galio ult, but it only lands onto two support and the jungler. You can see Brick on top of the turret taking it down. A good taunt from the Galio, but here comes Kiadni, and we will find Galio going down as well. Madness is down, Volig is down, Envion is down. This is an inhibitor. Shayak is down as well, and they may even be able to push for a couple Nexus turrets, but I think smartly, already pulling back, looking for this Drake spawning in 50 seconds. I honestly think they may be able to start up the Baron if they wanted to. They do have a Varus with Blade of the Ruin King, but they will just look for a reset here after taking the mid inhibitor 1. But oh my, Mercenary, are they starting to pull ahead? The gold lead is now 7K, and I'm starting to be a little bit worried for Singularity here.
Yeah, definitely in the end. Singularity might be tier 1, but they did win on a forfeit. And honestly, since we didn't see the first match then, I feel like this first match would have gone the same as it is right now. That pressure is absolutely terrifying coming out here from Weirdchamp. They have some strong champions nonetheless, but again, that tanky front line that you saw beforehand, the Galio and the Maokai that were supposed to be there to block Caitlyn so she brave so they can just poke from behind, fortunately never happened. Neither one has finished a single item yet, and the Galio, while having built-in tankiness, still got chewed out, and Shayok just died in the initial fight, just popped like a balloon at the end. These damage numbers are coming out, and you really need those tanky members to get some sort of item to finish it off and just to be beefy in the end.
Yeah, oh my God. Yeah, and he absolutely destroying Shayak. You're going to go down to the smite from Belladeath, and Madness now being run down by Hadney. Going to look for this blast on will taunt Madness. See Gentry here, but Belladeath going in, going to block the Caitlyn ultimate. Hadney's going to take down another one. Gentry's going to try and get into the way of the grave shots. Will not be able to do so, but he is running her down. Meanwhile, the Dragon's going down in the pit without any junglers. Caitlyn tries to take it, but fails the auto. Embrace Dream goes over the wall, but Caitlyn is already gone. She's at about quarter of her health. Meanwhile, Belladeath is still running down this Graves. He will take him down. Now he's looking in bot lane. Volig has almost no health left. Belladeath decides to call off the chase and retreat through his jungle, but it ends up being a super chaotic fight. But meanwhile, Brick is nowhere nearby. He's just going to go in under this turret or MBO, and he's so strong. Absolutely destroys her, and it's only Shayak here to defend, and this Shayak can't do anything to him. He has the Hextech gun, he has the Wit's End. There's absolutely no way Shayak can win this 1v1.
It's a real shame there in the end. As I was saying about damage and tankiness, you've seen Haydn just come out of the corner and just take out both the tanks in a single swift motion. They're doing so much damage in the end, and meanwhile, they don't even need all the members to take that Drake in the end. They knew they won the fight from earlier, so a lot of people would be down defending, and they wouldn't be at their full strength just yet. And they were proven right. You tossed Brick into the top lane, and no one's going to be able to stop a Volibear who's 6-2. But it looks like we're going to have a fight for ban right now, and I feel like I know which way this is going to go. Oh my God.
Oh my word. Hiadni is insane right now. Absolutely 100 to 0's Volig with the full combo. And now Belladeath is going in onto Gentry. Is starting to run down. Gentry will proc the phase rush. Meanwhile, Shayak trying to provide some front line. Does pop the ult. Here comes the Galio ult. Still chasing in the bot lane. This is a split fight as Varus tries to stay alive on the backside. They will manage to get away from Belladeath, but Hiadni's still throwing out the Qs. Now rooted is Madness with the Varus ultimate. Nice double root here from Nico. She can't get over the wall. Here come the Winds of War and the ultimate from Graves, but not quite enough to take down Ex-Astral. They will be forced to back out here after taking down one, but you can see Brick still split pushing in this bot lane, full health with his ult coming back up very, very soon. And if you're Volig, I would be very scared to stand here for too long.
Definitely in the end. That was an absolutely insane fight. The amount of damage just coming out here from the enemy team, it's absolutely insane. And we're just looking at this mid lane Orianna completely blowing up Volig in the end. No tanks to by her side, no one to block her in the end. And just standing out there on her own, it was bound to be a death somewhere. Though they were able to do enough damage to Weirdchamp to force them off of that Baron to keep them away from doing it. But it looks like with the fight happening soon, you're down a few ultis on one side, and almost all the ultis over on the side of Weirdchamp are back up now.
Weirdchamp doing a great job here, up almost 10k gold now, and Singularity really trying to look for a way back into this game. 10 kills down, 10k gold. They do still have a strong Caitlyn, but as you've mentioned multiple times here, Mercenary, it's so hard for this Caitlyn to exist. You know, they relied on this tanky frontline that they drafted to keep her safe, but this tanky frontline just isn't very tanky, and so it's very easy for the side of Singularity to just jump on her or just push through the tanks before jumping on the Caitlyn fights. Meanwhile, in the bot lane, Brick gonna go in with his ultimate. Absolutely half health Caitlyn with the ultimate alone. And they do manage to get her down as Yadney forced to flash away from the ensuing teleport. You can see actually a pretty good play from Singularity there. A very greedy effort by Brick to try to go sort of 1v4, but he knows how strong he is, and he manages to really pull it off with only Yadney to help him.
I know we said jump down, but we didn't mean it literally, Brick. Oh my goodness. The solid amount of damage is coming out there, and you had Yadney just pop around the corner to try to finish them off and get the extra kill on there. That's Orianna's absolutely terrifying, and now they're just going to go straight for that Baron. They don't need the Volibear. He has TP up if the fight does ensue, but with one of their strongest members down here, it does not look like Singularity is going to be able to fight for that one in the end.
Yep, and they will take that Baron uncontested. Is going to try and go in for a 1v2 here against Brick. The Caitlyn is coming. I was going to say, you're going to need more than just those two, as they are finally going to take down Brick here. Caitlyn will pick up that nice shutdown, 700 gold on her, and she will finally crest 10,000 in gold value. So Caitlyn, again, still very strong. 3-3 here will probably be close to finishing her third item, but when you look across the board at this now 10k gold lead, and Infernal Soul spawning in 30 seconds. You look across the board, this Volibear is worth 14k gold. The Orianna is worth 12.5k gold. Only Caitlyn has crested 10k on the side of Singularity, and those are such massive, massive gold differences to contend with, excuse me.
Definitely terrifying. You'd see they needed almost the entire team just to take down Brick. Going against this team is definitely a terrifying one, especially with this Drake coming up here soon. They can't let them get this Infernal Soul, or that will be it for Singularity, unless they can pull off some absolutely insane team fighting. It looks like they're going to try to do that right now. They have the wall set up, and they're diving straight in.
Astra going to flash in here with the root. We have a nice engage from NBO in the back. They're going to take down Embrace Stream right away. Brick trying to teleport in to get on top of Caitlyn, taking her down. She does fall, but Yadney is down as well. Belladeath trying to get on top of NBO, and as you can see, Brick still going at it with Shayok and Gentry. This is, again, a very split fight, but Brick is too strong. Flashes on top of Gentry and takes him down. NBO is the last damage on the team. If she cannot do anything, there is no way that Brick will go down. Shayok being taken down by Belladeath. Shayok will actually shut down Astra, I believe, either with a Q or an E, but Brick is still moving on top of them. Will get rooted up. Nice double root by NBO, and they're going about half health, but Madness is so low, he's going to fall here as well. And Brick absolutely runs over this fight. This Volibear is just so huge, Mercenary.
I know Volibear is supposed to be a god, but Jesus, Brick is making him act like one. Solid damage coming out. You saw huge amount of damage dealers just completely wiped off the face of the earth. The Belladeath was able to stay alive in the back lane, and then Brick just comes walking down, takes down 1, 2, 3, tears through the team, and forces them off that Drake. A fight that Singularity should have won, but Brick just pops out of nowhere and ends up winning the fight for them and getting that Infernal Soul. I think it's start to write the eulogy on top of the tombstone here for Singularity.
I think you kind of do. I mean, that was such a good fight, really, from Singularity. They took out Embrace Dream right away. NVO landing a nice double stun, and that Varus damage was down, but you just saw Brick run from one damage dealer to the next and just never get close to dying. It's so hard to take this Volibear down. They don't have any anti-healing except for the Morellonomicon on NVO, and it looks like Caitlyn has hit 3 items, is now working towards that Executioner's Calling, but it's so hard. Brick is level 17. He's worth 15k gold.
Absolutely terrifying. Brick is just a massive force to be reckoned with. Like, we've been singing the praises of how he, throughout the entire match, doing these solid damages, doing these amazing 1v1s, but Brick, on the other hand, started off the match strong and has continued to be strong. No one can match him. It takes an entire team just to kill one bear. You're down one member? Well, I don't see much of a way of winning that one. But they had Baron. They used that Baron play to shove it through to that Drake. Now they have Infernal Soul, and they looks like they're just planning on shoving straight through this base.
Yes, they will, setting up a 4-1 here, letting Brick with all that gold, all that power, be the pressure in this mid lane. Mid lane already missing the inhibitor, so it does have super minions with this wave. And a nice auto there from him onto Embrace Dream. Will take about half his health. You can see Shayak popping the ultimate here, but it's pretty far away. Not sure that's landing onto anyone as Weirdchamp just going to disengage there. You can see Volibear already in the base here, trying to distract some members of Singularity as Pillar will be popped here. Madness is rooted up, but he is still pretty tanky with that shield. And nice slow field here from NVO. Root will land on the Belladeath. Astro already about half health. Now the Caitlyn going in. Caitlyn gets absolutely destroyed by Kiadni again. She's going to get knocked back into her team by Shayak, but Shayak gets blown up as well. Now Madness trying to create a zone for Gentry, but he's going to get rooted up and taken out after getting hit with the Verisalt. Gentry now, the last member, a triple kill on the side of Kiadni, and in the meantime, Bricked just 1v1s in Vion, and there's the Quadra for Orianna, and this is just a tale of two carries here. Mercenary, Bricked, and Kiadni absolutely running over this game from the earliest portions, and that will be the game and the series for Weirdchamp.
Absolutely insane. It's a damn shame we missed on that first match, so we couldn't see them go 2-0. Honestly, Bricked did amazing amount of work there, was able to split and got a bunch of early kills, and that's not what you want on a Volibear. And unfortunately, Gentry just was not strong enough to be able to fight against just a Volibear, and Shayak just got pinned down. We're looking at the charts right now. Ending up with Shayak with 1-7 was not able to get that tanky whatsoever. But as we're looking at these damage charts, we're already breaching 30k right now for Bricked. Yeah, and he coming up at 26. And then the third one going to be that Nico, who did a lot of work there in the fight for Singularity, but unfortunately that damage did not compare to what that Volibear had in store.
Absolutely is the case. Mercenary, just such a strong showing from minute one there by Bricked in the top lane, and pretty similar performance by Kiadni as well. She solo killed Nico twice in lane, and they really used their power very, very well, showing up to team fights, roaming into river, and absolutely knowing who their target was. Kiadni seemed to have that ball on an absolute auto lock for Caitlyn in every single team fight, just bursting her out with her ultimate. And once that Caitlyn was down, it was so hard with just Nico really to provide the damage, as Gentry was set so far behind by some of his plays into the top lane in the early game that Brick turned around.
Yeah, no, but as we're looking in chat right now, the chat knows what time it is, and if you are not familiar here, during the final season, during the playoffs, I like to give an MVP for each match that we watch here. And during this match, we have a lot of people switching in between. We have Kiadni votes, so we have Bricked votes. But my personal vote will be going towards Bricked. He did amazingly well up in the top lane. Had an early helpful gank coming out here from Belladeath, but overall was just a terror in the lane. Was able to force a bunch of pressure away during the match, and even during that last dragon fight, was able to turn that around quickly. A fight Singularity should have won instantly. Unfortunately, Bricked was still alive. Belladeath was there for support, but not strong enough to fight, and Brick said, let me just 1v3 right now. So my MVP of this semifinals match will be going to Brick. What about you, DJ?
I do have to agree with you. I will give that honorable mention to Kiadni. I think any other game, you could have given it to Ori, but Volibear, Bricked, super dominant from level 1, or you're in the lane, and turning around that early gank at level 3 really set Gentry behind. So well played by Bricked, well played by Weirdchamp, but that will wrap up our series here in Illinois Division B for the night. We will catch you tomorrow for the semifinals in Illinois Division A. To all the GG Leagues fans out there, thank you for tuning in. Please check out our social media if you're interested in seeing any of our videos. And if you're interested in joining the league, please check out our page. See if you can find any players in your region to play on a team with you. And if you don't have any, message us and we can try to work something out. But for all of you out there, have a wonderful night, and thank you again for joining us.